Bibi Netanyahu has been speaking to the international press this week, trying to justify the coup, the first step of which was enacted on Monday. I want to talk about just 5 points that were untrue in an interview that he gave to Wolf Blitzer on CNN a couple of days ago. 1, this law does not restore balance at all. In fact, it takes all the power and puts it in the hands of the government. It's called a dictatorship. It's not great. Let's just compare it to the US for a second. In the US, you have a stable structure, at least, where you have a constitution, 2 houses of parliament, federal system, separate executive, and separate elections for all of those things. Israel doesn't have any of those structures. Therefore, its democracy is very vulnerable. This government is hijacking it. 2, Israel is definitely not the only place in the world where the court can tell government that its action is extremely unreasonable. In fact, the UK and other Commonwealth countries have the same system because there too there's no constitution. 3, the court definitely has the authority to cancel this law. And it is nothing like changing the Constitution or canceling an amendment to the Constitution in the US. In the US, you need 2/3 of both houses of parliament. We have only one. And you need 3/4 of all states. In Israel, you need 50.001% in the only house of parliament that we have to both make and unmake a basic law, which is our standing constitution. They are taking advantage of that. 4, he did not trim the coup that he had in mind in January. In fact, 213 laws, probably a bit more by now, are waiting to be passed at various stages of the process, some of which are really close to passing, in fact. If you put them all together, you basically get a Jewish Iran. Autocratic, racist, misogynistic, ultra-Orthodox, extremist country. Not a great place to be, also not very productive. And 5, he does not have anywhere near the support that he's talking about. Every single survey, including one from yesterday, shows that the overwhelming majority of Israelis is dead against this. Every world leader is speaking out against this. He's quoting numbers that are just not true. The demonstration that supports this at their end that happened earlier this week used pictures from our demonstrations against the coup. Just for comparison, we have been in the streets for 30 weeks straight, protesting against this thing, warning against the implications of what is going to happen, what is beginning to happen. Just on Monday, 600,000 Israelis were in the streets protesting against the coup. That is the equivalent of 22 million Americans. Think about that. 30 straight weeks, 22 million Americans. That is unprecedented. Finally, think about his demeanor. His demeanor says, I'll do whatever I want. He has the temerity to tell President Biden on CNN to mind his own business. That is not a great idea, especially not when someone has been such a great friend to Israel. He also did not commit to respecting a potential decision by the Supreme Court should it decide to cancel this law. That says coup. So it's a playbook that's been used in other places to take democratic elections, turn the country into a dictatorship, essentially. Poland, Turkey, Hungary, you name the place. So please help us keep Israel, the wonderful, beautiful, vibrant startup nation that we all love, a democracy. It will not survive otherwise. Thank you.